Lanzarote! Peter.
Yes.
We are really happy to see you, and it was wonderful seeing you coming in. So, how are you?
Good. Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed it. It's a good 5 days. So yeah.
You looked happy when you came in.
Yeah, I think you're bound to. I think after being at sea for a bit, but no, it's a really enjoyable time. Actually, really enjoyed the sailing.
So, what can you tell me about the passing of time?
It just seems to have gone in a flash. Actually, it really doesn't feel like it was a long time ago we were leaving Lagos, and then yeah, the days kind of run into each other a little bit, but yeah, all just seems to have disappeared. We're in Lagos and now we're here. It feels a bit like it never really happened, but actually it clearly did. So, yeah.
So you were third boat in.
Yep.
You did quite well. When you knew you were third boat in, you thought, maybe I should have done things differently. But yeah, that's only human. But tell me, what would you do differently next time?
So I think I spent quite a lot of the first half of the journey being quite timid. I think I was still learning how to sail the boat. That was my 5th sail in the boat, and so yeah, I could have probably put more sail up for a lot longer. But you know, just baby steps, learning every time. So hopefully I'll get faster and faster. I'll be able to keep up with the other two because they are fast. So yeah, no, it's been a learning experience, that's for sure.
So there are 3 options for steering. One is you do it yourself, 2 is you have an autopilot, and 3 is you have a wind vane. Can you roughly estimate the hours divided by those 3 means of steering?
So I still don't know how to use the Telepilot because I've really not used it, so I'd say 0 hours on that. I hand steered maybe 10 or 15 minutes of the journey, only when there were some ships coming my way and I wanted to go around them, and then the 99% of the time the wind vane did the work. I think I even crossed the start line under the wind vane.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. Yeah. That was real cool.
So this is start as you mean to go on, and it's worked perfectly. It's been, it needs a little bit of maintenance, but it's hands off, relaxing, sat there looking at the view, reading a book. Maybe not the racer's technique, but it's worked really well for me in all the different conditions. So even in the waves, in the light winds, in the heavy winds. So yeah, it's been good.
So how was your self-built boat behaving?
It's good. Yeah, really good. I think there's a few small changes that I need to make while I'm here. There's a few little bits of deck hardware that need to be either moved or replaced. Quite a few bits down below that I'd like to optimise. More places to put things, I think would be good. But otherwise, yeah, pretty good. I mean, considering that's 550 odd miles, there was not a huge amount I'd change.
So when you count all the miles you have done till now, how many are you doing?
I think the log says something like 690. So the vast majority were in the last 5 days.
Okay. So what have you learned about the boat?
I've learned more about the sail plans that she's comfortable with. I've learned quite a lot about the wave action on the boat as well. So the boat is good and stable, but does tend to lose a grip a bit as you go down a wave. So it's very easy to let the boat kind of slide sideways and broach a little bit. While the wind vane does recover the boat quite quickly, it's uncomfortable while that's happening because she's lying on her side. But yeah, that's been my biggest learning actually, I think. And so for the longer leg across the Atlantic, I just need to see whether I can optimise the steering slightly and also the sail plan. Chatting to the other guys who have a lot more experience than me, it's clear I need to do some stuff differently. So yeah, I'll be trying everything on the longer legs and seeing whether I can get it more and more balanced.
Okay. The rudder bolts were changed right before the start in Lagos. So what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so the rudder bolts are now fine. They're made out of actual stainless steel, but they're still very loose. So they clatter about in the pintles pretty badly. I'm gonna probably try and get some more machined here so that the tolerance is a bit finer. That's about the noisiest thing on the boat. So as you're going downwind, it'll be clonk, 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 clonk as the rudder moves slightly. But other than that, it's all pretty good actually. That's maybe it's an annoying thing. It's not a structural issue, so it's more than strong enough. It's just a bit too much play in there, I think.
So as long as it doesn't wear your nerves too much down,
yeah, exactly,
you'll be happy. So happy, yeah. Was there any unnerving stuff going on when you came down?
Yeah, so there's one one slight crisis that I had was I was just doing my pre-darkness checks on the boat, just having a look around everything, just checking there was no water anywhere. And I opened up the locker hatch in the aft watertight compartment, was staring in there, and then the boat rolled towards me, and all of a sudden a lot of things floated into view that really should have been stationary, and so yeah, some water was getting in. It was definitely salt water, it's not just one of my jerry cans, and so yeah, I bucketed it all out, maybe 3 buckets of water, and then I identified the source of the leak being I've got a deck plate in the bottom of the cockpit there, and I think that was leaking. So every time a wave came into the cockpit, it would just slop in just a little bit of water, and it was just every time would go a little bit down into that aft compartment, and then it slowly filled up. But yeah, it's now that I know what it is, it's easy. It's just when you first see it, you're like.
So how many liters do you think you took on per 24 hours?
I think it must have been maybe a bucket and a half, so I don't know how many litres that is, what, like 25, 30? It wasn't huge and it was very manageable, but it's just the surprise of seeing it there just before dark as well. And I'd just cooked dinner and it was getting cold, so, you know.
Yeah, the big and small problems,
yeah.
eh? So the living inside the box, some people call it the washing machine. I can relate to that strongly because I've been on small boats. How was life inside?
So I mean, it's kind of like a washing machine, but it's dry, really dry. I was surprised at how dry it was. It's not an unpleasant experience. I've got some cushions, so it's comfortable place to lie. It is a weird motion though. In those waves, they were kind of half waves on top of big waves, and so the boat was very bouncy at times. So yeah, not the most comfortable, but not super uncomfortable either. I mean, it could be a lot worse if everything's wet. It's horrible, but it was dry. So yeah, it's all good.
So then you came round the lighthouse. How was your trip into the harbour? All going as planned?
Yeah, no, that was all right. It was quite handy to have you guys in the rib come and kind of guide me in and then take the tow, because there are a lot of boats out at anchor and they are relatively poorly lit against the background because it was night. It's all the lights on the land that mean you can't see the boats that are close to you. So actually, yeah, that was very helpful. I do appreciate that, because I was starting to get a bit tired by that point, but it was more the concentration and having to do it all. So yeah, no, it was good. But it's nice to come around the lighthouse. That's a hell of a feature to finish with. You see the lights sweeping across the horizon, and it's like, yeah, I've made it. So no, it was good finish.
So what are your plans for being here in Lanzarote? Does family come over? Do you go for a trip? Do you fly back to the UK? We have some time still.
We do, yeah. So I think most of the time will be spent just tweaking a few things on the boat. Unfortunately, my youngest child doesn't have a passport. That's an administration error on our part. So unfortunately, my wife and kids can't come out. Otherwise, I would have loved them to be here. So yeah, that's a real shame. I have plenty of video chats with them, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But maybe I'll take a quick flight back to the UK. But the entrance requirements and the COVID make that kind of awkward. So let's see. But mostly just preparing the boat, chilling out, making sure that everything's ready for the big one. So
what's the story about the apples then?
The apples. I did bring far too many apples with me. I bought a bag of 20 apples. I think I've maybe eaten 5. So I've got a lot of apples to get through.
Okay. So you won't starve, eh?
I definitely won't starve. I've still got loads of food left. I've brought far too much. Even though I spilt one of my meals up against the bulkhead while we just fell off a wave and I had to scrape it back into the bag and eat it. But no, I've got plenty of food still, so I think I need to maybe think about how much I do need to take across the Atlantic, because I don't need that much. So yeah.
So since you have been also the guy who actually put the boat together, is there anything structural that you have, things that you want to look at, or just for yourself to have a double check?
I think it's all good actually. I think I'm in a visual check of everything. I've not seen anything come loose that shouldn't be loose. I've not seen anything, that's wearing out that shouldn't be wearing out. It's all the stuff that you might expect. There are things kind of bedding in, I guess, and things like that. But there's nothing that's concerning me about the boat, that's for sure. I think the boat is the strong part. I think I'm the weak point in this particular chain.
Did you feel safe?
Yeah. It's dry. It's secure in the cockpit. It's easy to sail. Yeah, it's a great boat actually. yeah, I've not had a huge amount of experience in small boats, but I know that this one is, yeah, it gives you the confidence in some of those waves. You know, it's doesn't feel like it's trying to kill you all the time, which I think some other boats can. Yeah.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for filling some of the blanks, and yeah, let's see how things develop before you leave the 18th.
Yeah, no, looks good. Thanks, Eli.